Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Greetings, beautiful people. My name is Simon Javan Okello. I'm excited to be here with you for another amazing episode of the African Father in America podcast. And I have an incredible guest who is joining us today all the way from New York. Kisha, go ahead and say hello to our viewers and our listeners.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Keisha. Thank you so much for having me, Simon.
Of course. Thank you again for all the wonderful work that you do. I am excited, for us to dive deep into your story, to learn about the work you do with Love Light Locks, and for people to see and kind of start feeling your products. For now, I want to start with an African proverb that is going to ground our conversation today. Our proverb today is from Zimbabwe, and it says that patience is an egg that hatches large birds. Patience is an egg that hatches large birds. So if you're watching this on YouTube, just make sure you share your comments down below so that we know your own perspective on this proverb. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that now and give this video a thumbs up. I want to share the 3 nuggets of wisdom related to this proverb, and then I'll create space for my special guest to be able to also speak about it. So the proverb says, patience is an egg that hatches large birds. The first nugget of wisdom around this proverb says that big things can take time. Big things can take time. Don't expect to achieve your biggest goals overnight. Be patient, be persistent, and you will eventually reach your destination. That's the first nugget of wisdom. The second one says that enjoy the journey. Don't get so focused on the end result that you forget to enjoy the process. Take your time and savor each step along the way. That's our second one. And then the last one is that don't give up. Things won't always work according to the plan. But if you are patient and persistent, you will overcome any obstacle. I love this proverb, and I love meditating every morning. When I wake up, I try to drink a big thing of water and meditate. And the next thing after my meditation is always this show and these proverbs. And I never actually think about these proverbs in my meditation until this morning is when I've been doing this for 3 years, by the way, Keisha. But I never actually think about these proverbs in my meditation. I just think about my problems. I think about the projects I have to do, and the things that are most important in my life. But today, this one really moved me because, from just a little thing inside the egg to a big bird. Even recently I was in Kenya and I was able to see, some of the biggest birds in the world, like the flamingo, and they just came from a tiny egg like this. So it required a lot of patience, and sometimes the egg had to be hidden somewhere in the bush, but eventually it became something huge, something that an entire family could feed on. So I just feel that this is such an important proverb. I want to get your perspective on it, Keisha. What do you think about it?
I really like what you just said. Well, first of all, I identify with your second nugget the most when it comes to the journey. But when I first saw that we were going to be discussing this proverb, I sat and thought about it for a while because my first thought was, well, is the large egg gonna hatch regardless if I'm patient or not? I think it still will hatch. However, the process of the of waiting for the hatching is not going to be a pleasant one. So it's so important that we do practice patience and learn to trust the journey and have faith. And when we are less anxious throughout the process, then the journey is really the reward. We're always taught, or we believe that the destination is the reward, but if there had ever been a goal that you had, when you achieved it, it never really felt as great as the feeling that you had in anticipation for the thing, the goal. So that tells me that really the journey, the process is what really matters. So when we're patient throughout that process, the destination, which is the large bird here, it's more enjoyable, it's more rewarding. So yeah, that's what I thought about this morning when I was contemplating the proverb.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I love your thought also in regards to making the journey be the destination, because a lot of the time we get distracted by, you know, I have to get this degree, I have to get this job, I have to travel to this destination. But the hustle to get the money to travel to that destination is actually fun. It's actually exhilarating, because eventually you make it there and it's just a 3-day vacation or a 1 week vacation, and you're like, how did I get here, by the way? So I love that.
Right.
Yeah, I love that. I see that we've been joined by quite a few people. I want to see comments. I want you to let us know your own perspective on the proverb and our conversation with the incredible Kisha. Kisha, I want you to go back and reflect, with me on a time when you're maybe 8 to 12 years old, and a story around that time that continues to drive who you are as a leader and the CEO of Love Light Locks. And I will share a quick story here. I was born and raised in Kisumu, Kenya. Kisumu is the third largest city in Kenya. And it's right by Lake Victoria, which is the largest lake in Africa. When you're looking at the map of Africa online or in any maps, you see the biggest water body is right on the eastern side of Africa. So I grew up right around that lake. And my mother was an entrepreneur. She started a business where she was distributing milk and bread and other commodities in our neighborhood. We grew up in the ghetto, in the slum, where we would buy one loaf of bread and divide it into 4, and it feeds 4 different families. And so I was one of her distributors. Every morning when I woke up, she gave me a bicycle one day and asked me, look, you have to help me here. You have to do something. And I was just 8, I could not even sit on the bike seat. It was a big bike. So a lot of kids, the moment you learn how to ride a bike, you just, you have the BMX, the little children's bikes. But I had an adult's bike, and my job was to use it to distribute milk and bread in our neighborhood. But then when I go back to those days, today, when I look back, I feel that those are the days that actually gave me the attitude I have towards waking up early, hustling, being patient, like this proverb was saying. And I think those are the days that really drive me today. Those are the moments that, made me an entrepreneur and the kind of person that I have become. So I want you to go back as well and share with us a similar story that really, inspires you to continue doing the amazing work that you do.
Well, I hope you don't mind. I want to go back to a story when I was a teenager. This, and I refer to this very often. I probably think about this once a week since I was in my 20s. So when I was a high school student, I went to a performing arts high school. So I was pursuing acting and visual arts and dance. And I had a theater teacher who taught us part time. So he would come in 2 times a week, and his main job was actually acting. So he was actually a struggling actor, and he would come wearing raggedy clothes. His hair would be messy, but he always came with a bright spirit, and he was very talented. He was very talented. And I remember um, one particular day, we were preparing for our showcase, and I had quickly memorized my lines. I had a long monologue that I actually wrote myself, And my teacher was like, Keisha, you know, you're really good at this. Would you like, do you want to prefer this? I mean, do you want to pursue this as your career? And I said to him, no, I don't want to pursue acting because I want to have a more practical job. I think that I want a more reliable income. And then he said, I understand. And immediately after I said that, I felt a little disrespectful because he's a full-time actor. So I'm basically telling him that his career path is unreliable and, unrealistic. Now, I forgave myself, but fast forward maybe 4 years, I saw my teacher on a trailer for the movie 42, playing Jackie Robinson. I'm like, wait a second, that looks like Chad. Is that Chad, my theater teacher in high school? Needless to say, years go by. He's in countless other roles, most notable as Black Panther. And I get choked up thinking about it because here's the thing. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. Um, it's the part of Brooklyn that I grew up. It's not very inspirational. There's not a lot of people around that you can say made it. Everyone is just living paycheck to paycheck, day by day, just trying to get by. So we don't always see someone make it, and that can hinder our own aspirations. So seeing Chad, which is what he had us call him, seeing Chad soar to the heights that he soared to was beyond inspirational for me. Even though I don't necessarily want to pursue theater or acting anymore, maybe a little bit. I do short films here and there, but just the fact that this man, I saw where he came from. I remember seeing him every day wearing raggedy clothes and not having a haircut and just looking a mess, but still being positive. And I saw where he what he achieved in his life. And just that alone inspires me that I don't have to be amongst a whole bunch of successful people. I know one person who made it. If he can do it, why can't I? Whatever the it is. Right now I'm pursuing my business endeavors. So that's the it for me. I I can be just as successful as I want to be, even though my circumstances weren't the ideal. I didn't have my mom to give me $1 million loan like Donald Trump got his dad to give him. I didn't have my degree is not even in business. My degree is in Africana studies and sociology. So I don't even have a business foundation. But just the belief in oneself is really what's needed to be successful in any field. And I often think to Chadwick Boseman because he inspired me so much. Just knowing where he came from and knowing where I came from, I know it's possible.
100%, 100%. He inspired many of us who didn't even know him like that. Even the Wakanda Forever symbol that to until now, people still greet each other like that. The clothing, the fashion. Honestly, this is the closest I've got to somebody who knows him. The other person that I know that knows him, that has worked closely with him, is Lupita Nyong'o. You know Lupita? Yeah, her
Love
father.
her.
Yeah, her father is the governor of my hometown back in Kenya. Yeah, so I know a few people who actually mentored her as an actress and helped her develop back in Kenya. So this is really, really beautiful. But I want you now to talk to us about Love Light Locks. You mentioned a few times that this is not what you studied. And in America, the percentage of people who pursue their own business endeavors is very low. I don't know what the exact stats are, but also the percentage of people who start and stop in the first month, the second month, the first year, the third year, very high, and so you have been persistent, you're successful, and you are also providing a product that is needed. Because for me personally, I have locks, and I feel like even if you look at my locks and yours are very clean, they're like happy locks, they're well taken care of. And I was actually looking for a black owned business that produces products that I can use for my own locks. And that's when I ran into your products. And so I want to learn more. Why this? Why Love Light Locks? I love the name, by the way. And so share with us just the backstory, where things are and where you want things to go.
Okay. Well, the proverb of the day definitely rings true for me because I started my locks when I was 19 years old. So now I've had my locks for 13 years. And when I first started my locks, I was filming the process on YouTube. Basically, it was very common and trendy for people to do monthly updates so people can see how locks progress, so people can learn the process and you see what they can expect for if they go on the journey themselves. And as I was consistent, I developed a following. Eventually, as I kept learning about lock maintenance and lock hair care, I started modeling for locticians and doing hair shows and things like that. I model for big brands as well. I realized that I have an influence now, and I have to be responsible with my influence. So rather than promoting brands that I didn't necessarily trust 100% because of certain ingredients that were being used, I decided to do the work and create products for myself and to sell to my viewers. So I developed my first hair growth oil in 2008, 17 or 18. And every year since then, I put out another product. I actually have a Lock Detox shampoo, which is coming out the end of the month. The end of the month, it should be coming out, it should be available. But I have two different hair growth oils. I have a hair moisturizer, a mist. Um, this product right here, this is the Love Light and Locks gel. It's one of my favorite products. I worked very closely with a chemist to help formulate it exactly how I want it. It smells like peppermint. That's because it has the peppermint essential oil in it, and so that's can be used for retwist or just styling. And yeah, so that's where I'm at now. 2023. So it's been some years since I've been on this path. I'm seeing steady growth, and every day I'm just practicing patience on the journey. Recently, my product got on to Walmart.com, so that's a feat. Eventually, I would like it to be in shelves on shelves like in Targets and Sally's, Beauty, Ulta, things like that. So yeah, so I still have some my work cut out for me, but I'm acknowledging the progress that I've made because in 2018, when I first began in my mom's kitchen, I never thought that I would still be doing it to this day. Like you said, most businesses don't succeed, and I don't, I don't, I didn't have the foundation for business. I don't. I'm a creative. I always identified as a creative. Like I said, I went to art school. I didn't anticipate being an entrepreneur, but it came very naturally, especially because I was making these YouTube videos about my locks, and I just did it because I loved it. I loved interacting with my viewers. I loved sharing information that I learned about locks, and it's just everything is just so seamless. So I'm trusting the process, trusting the journey, and awaiting my large egg, my large bird, I should say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I love that. I love that. So since 2017, 2018 is when you started, and every year you've introduced a new product, and I'm very proud of you. It's no joke, no joke, because it's different when you're making a product that people consume, that people actually consume to look good, consume to look better, consume to feel like their locks. People who have locks are very particular. It's not like people who have other hairstyles. So they will tell you if they don't feel good about your product. So it's incredible what you've been able to do. I want you to take us back a little bit, and share with us two things. One is your most challenging time with your business, because a lot of business people also watch this show. Just the other day, I was interviewing one of the first Africans to move to the Seattle area in the early 60s, and then he founded the African Chamber of Commerce of the Pacific Northwest, that actually creates a lot of opportunities for businesses here to also invest in Africa. Anyway, speak about one of your most challenging moments with your business, something that made you feel like, oh, today this is it, I'm not doing this anymore, and then speak about one thing that makes you want to even grow your business the way you're speaking about it, to see it in more shelves, to see it in more countries, just do the comparison and contrasting there a little bit.
Okay. So I want to say, okay, 2020, we dealt with a global pandemic, and we dealt with it pretty steadily into 2021 as well. However, it was devastating. It was really good for online businesses, small businesses in particular. So that was when, in 2020, was when my business net, or gross, I should say, the most money it's ever made to date. So in 2021, it was almost as good as 2020. But when 2022 came around, and it wasn't as good as the previous 2 years, it was really discouraging. It took me a while to realize that it wasn't necessarily me and my business. It was pretty much the trend across businesses, period. Small businesses really thrived in 2020 and 2021. And then in 2022, when people went back to work and back outside, the businesses didn't do as well anymore. So at first, I thought it was me. I thought I was doing something wrong. So it was really devastating, the drop in the income that I made, because I had all this progress, and I was just so proud of myself, and especially because I was very sickly in 2020. Actually, I was very sickly from 2019 into 2020 into 2021 a little bit too, but I'm a lot better now. But so I was really proud of myself that I was able to fight through the chronic condition that I was dealing with, and still be able to reach the success with my business, especially because at the time I was the only employee. Well, I am the only employee, but now I have some independent contractors that help me a bit. But yeah, so um, just understanding that with business, there's going to be highs, there's going to be lows. The economy is going to shift, and that's going to impact your business. So, so just being aware of that, and just being conscious of that, and knowing that it's, while times may look down, they will go back up. That's just a cycle. That's just how it works. So, that just being aware of that has been really helpful. And I forgot the part two of your question.
Yeah, I feel like you answered it. You
Did
answered
I?
it by
Okay.
speaking about the highs and the lows, because the question
Okay.
was really about the most challenging times and also the most successful times, and you just answered it there. But I want you to just share with our viewers and our listeners how they can actually support you. You know, if say somebody is watching now and they want to buy one of your Love Light Locks products, where should they go? You know, and also share how they can stay connected with you on social media.
Okay, great. So you guys can all purchase my lock products. And by the way, my products are beneficial for people with afro hair as well. So you don't need to have locks. You know, natural hair is natural hair, period. But yes, you can shop at KeishaCharmaine.com, and you can follow me everywhere at Keisha Charmaine. So that's on YouTube, where I have YouTube tutorials, styles and maintenance, and natural hair conversations, kind of like the ones that we're having right now. Um, Also, Instagram at Keisha Charmaine, Pinterest, TikTok, all over the internet.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. Now, Keisha, I want you to take space and now just speak about something that I didn't ask, or an area of our conversation that I haven't touched. You know, take space.
Okay, I do actually want to talk about the lock journey because it is also relevant to the proverb of the day. Um, a lot of times people will reach out to me for advice along their lock journey. They will say things like, Keisha, my hair is ugly right now. My hair is frizzy. I don't like the way it looks. Why doesn't my hair look like yours? And things like that. And oftentimes they'll go ahead and cut their hair off or comb the locks out because they decided to give up on the journey. But I do want to remind everyone that when it comes to a lock journey, again, it's a process that you do have to trust. As your hair locks, it does look frizzy. It does look messy. It doesn't look like how you want it to look. It doesn't look like the destination. What's really important about the lock journey, however, is that it's more than a hair journey. It's a journey of self-discovery. It's a journey where you can develop your character and appreciate your natural beauty. Oftentimes, especially as Black women, we lean on our hair for beauty. So when our hair doesn't fit the standard of beauty, the Eurocentric standard of beauty, or even the African American standard of beauty, we feel ugly. We do. And it's really important that we understand that our beauty does not come from our hair. Our beauty doesn't even come from anything physical, because at the end of the day, I'm sure we've all met people who aren't traditionally attractive, but it was something within them that drew us to them. And it's their energy, it's their spirit, it's their light. And throughout the lock journey, when you're not feeling as conventionally beautiful as you may have in the past, it is the ideal time for you to cultivate your character and appreciate the beauty within. And once you do that, in the blink of an eye, your hair is locked. You're out of the awkward stage where your hair is extra frizzy, and you're now your own hair goals. And I think that it's important that we focus on that part of the lock journey. We mostly talk about, the hair part, but we need to talk more about the internal part. Yeah.
That's so profound what you just said, you know. And you have to develop thick skin, because sometimes you go to work and people will literally discriminate against you because of your hair, you know. But they
Yes.
forget about who you are, you know. They forget even about the skills that you bring on the table, you know, the experiences that you bring on the table. So that's such a beautiful way for you to share, you know, basically your closing remarks before we wrap up our show today. I would definitely love to have you back on the show in the coming weeks and months. If you have a new product, come and talk about it here, and I just want to encourage you to continue on, and I'll definitely be one of your clients, and I'll continue being one of your fans. But I just want to see who else joined us here. I see one comment here from Martin Osome. Martin is actually in Kenya, in Nairobi, Kenya, and he just says that he's tuned in and he's enjoying the show. Keisha, thank you again. You have a beautiful day and keep up the good work. I'm sure we will stay connected. I'm really, really grateful for the time that you created for us to have you on the show today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Simon. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, we'll talk soon. Bye. Take care.
Bye.
African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle.